Hi everybody, welcome to our week number 4 Twitch live stream for my research methods class. I can't believe that we already at our first exam this week. We're already in week 4. We're already in September. Very excited that it is September and we're finally in the Burr months. Very nice. I mean, I've been decorated for Halloween for like over a month, but but now I should be able to decorate for Halloween and football starts tomorrow. All good things, right? So I hope all of you are doing well and hanging in there. We have 3 weeks done. We're right here in week number 4. I just want to say a few things about week number 3, and then we can focus on this week and that first exam and a few of those kind of items. Can you all hear me and see me okay? Can someone let me know in the chat if everything's coming through all right? Just it looks good on my end, but just to double check before I keep going. Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. So like I said, a few comments about last week, and then we'll move forward. Last week we had our first homework assignment that was due. We obviously had a discussion. I saw a lot of really wonderful things last week, and we're gonna be working on like different elements of APA formatting and articles and research components, of course, all semester long. And I thought a lot of you did a wonderful job on that first homework assignment. Some really interesting topics, a lot of things related to like anxiety and EMDR and things related to therapy that a lot of you picked. Addiction was another common one. Really great job identifying the different parts of the paper. I know that might seem a little silly to do, but like identifying the components of a paper and being able to kind of summarize it is a huge skill. So a lot of you did a beautiful job with that. The number one thing that I saw with the first homework assignment, some people forgot to upload the article, and that lost you some points because I wasn't able to double check against what you did. So that was the number one thing. Other than that, most people did a beautiful job summarizing and locating everything, and I saw a lot of great things. And I think a lot of you did a good job of kind of piggybacking off of the discussion. Really great job evaluating different resources, looking at different types of searches. Biggest thing I saw in the discussion, forgetting the peer response, and then also just not quite giving me quite enough. So if you find that you've been missing like a point or two here or there on the discussions, just try and give me a little bit more, and hopefully that'll push you over that edge into getting full points. And with the homework assignment, if you forgot to upload the article, that's too bad. Like obviously that's unfortunate, but it was kind of a not an awful mistake in the sense that a lot of you still did a beautiful job identifying the components even without that piece. So just make sure you're reading all the instructions fully so that you get those points. And it seems like a lot of you are feeling really good about the class from the anonymous survey checking in. So we move forward this week to APA formatting part 1. We'll have 3 different APA formatting units throughout this class. Part 1 is this week. We also have exam number 1 this week, so I want to take a little bit of time to talk about the test. So as always, for your reading and such, 3 things, right? Read the section in the book, read through the lecture, and watch the lecture video, right? So make sure you read through everything related to this content. APA formatting part 1, we're kind of looking at, what is APA formatting and when and why is it used? Trying to understand some of those general rules for avoiding plagiarism, like when do we cite and not cite sources. There's some stuff on the Beyond the Book page about what APA style is, a little kind of introductory video and so on. Some audio down here about using sources and avoiding plagiarism and all that kind of stuff. And then on the last page, all of the key terms for the exam. So make sure you go through all of that, watch the little videos that are in there. That's really going to help you. You also have my little bit of a lecture video to some PowerPoint slides, which is going to be helpful in helping you to understand APA formatting. And again, we'll do 3 different pieces of that, but we're just kind of getting into it this week. So you have discussion 4 and exam number 1. Let's take a look at both of those things. Discussion number 4, as always, when you open it, you'll have my instructions, followed by my video, followed by the prompt. And so this one is related to APA formatting. So number 1, what is APA style? And explain when and why it's used. Okay, so what is it, when is it used, and so on. What is APA style? Number two, I have three scenarios down here for you. You're going to read these three scenarios, and for each one, tell me whether or not it's plagiarism and explain why or why not. And this was a big focus of the lecture for this week. So reading through these three scenarios, is it plagiarism? Why or why not? Support your decision on which one it is, and make sure you elaborate and describe. When you're ready, you'll hit reply, and then don't forget to also reply to a classmate. You can see a bunch of people have already gotten going on this discussion, which is fantastic. So everything this week, kind of when do we cite, why do we cite, what is APA, starting to get into that a little bit, kind of building off of last week where we found an APA article and evaluated sources and how to do searches online. The really big thing we have this week, exam number one. And I know exams make people really, really nervous, a lot of anxiety around tests, but try and remember a couple of things. One, you have a study guide. Two, you can use your notes in your book. And three, I will never trick you on an exam. I really want you all to do well. If you all got A's on the test, I would be thrilled. So try and keep all of that in the back of your mind as you're taking the test. As long as you study and prepare everything on the study guide, you should be in really, really good shape. So let's talk about the exam a little bit and the study guide a little bit, just to try and help you feel better. What I do is I made you a study guide for the exam, and this is everything that you need to know. So if it's on here, make sure you know it. If it's not on here, you don't need to worry about it. So everything from chapter 1, chapter 2, part 1 and part 2, and then this week APA formatting part 1. So if it's on here, make sure you could answer questions about it, that you could define it, that you could identify examples. What I would do if it were me, and I would love to preface this by saying that I've always been that like straight A student who wants 105% on everything. So that's who I am. And that may or may not match up with who you are, right? But what I would do if it were me is I would go through and I would type out or write out each one of these terms. And then I would have it literally sitting in front of me during the exam. Right? That way, let's say I get to falsifiability and I don't remember what it is. I don't have to try and find it in the textbook, find it in the lecture, find it in the lecture video. I'm using that valuable test time. I'm getting more and more anxious the longer it takes me to find it. Versus if you have defined each one of these terms and you have it typed or written out in front of you, you can just be like, oh, okay, falsifiability, here's a reminder for me to help me out. Okay, and I think if you do approach it that way, you really should be in amazing shape. Study these like you would for a traditional test, and then have the study guide there with you as a resource, so when you're taking the exam you can reference it. And I think that's a really great way to approach it. These are all things that are either in the textbook, in the lecture, or in the lecture videos. When you're ready, you'll click on exam number 1. I want you to notice it's worth 50 points, 50 questions, 60 minutes. Okay, so you have a little more than a minute per question. It's mainly multiple choice. There's some matching and true false. No short answer. It's all matching, true, false, and multiple choice. If you don't know the answer to something, skip it. You can always come back to it. Don't use up that valuable time. So you have 60 minutes and 1 attempt. So make sure you're watching the clock. It will stop you if you run out of time. And make sure that you're organized and ready before you begin. Now, I feel like I give this piece of advice a lot in all of my online classes, but organized and ready, that means a couple of things to me. One, make sure you have 60 minutes to spare. You have 60 minutes, you have good internet, you have a quiet place to take the exam, or at least some headphones or something to make it like calm and quiet for you. Set yourself up for success. Don't wait until Sunday night. Don't take this like Sunday night at like 10 p.m., right? It feels like the second you put yourself in that spot, bad things happen, right? The internet goes out, the power goes out. September is notorious for like wind starting to happen. So just be mindful and try not to wait till the last minute. You can use your notes, you can use your book, but as I mentioned, if you're trying to look everything up, you're going to be really hurting on time. And that is a little bit purposeful. I want you to study and prepare, but if you've studied and prepared, you should be in really good shape. I will never give you trick questions. I will never ask you anything that's not on the study guide. I really do want you all to do well. So just make sure you've studied and prepared, and you should be in good shape. The moment you hit submit quiz, you will get a score. for your exam, and you can see the questions that you got right or wrong. And if you ever have any questions about that, you're always welcome to reach out to me and ask. But I think if you can follow those tips, you should be in a really, really good spot. Again, the exams, in my opinion, are pretty straightforward. We've kind of been on like the lighter end of materials so far. Next week, we start getting a little bit more challenging, but for now, we've kind of been easing into it. So just make sure you review the study guide, make sure you know everything on there, and hopefully that will put you in a really good spot. Okay, and again, I know exams cause people a lot of anxiety, but you have all of that at your disposal. Deep breath. You're gonna be okay. And if for some reason you do miss some points, remember that you have these extra credit opportunities with the Twitch sessions every single week, and that would definitely help to make up for it. Okay, so I have a couple of reminders for you, and then of course I will give you the extra credit question and show you where to answer that. So a couple of things, I typed this in here earlier. Don't forget to take a moment to just double check your subscription status, especially if you're watching this later as a recording. If you're subscribed, you can still answer the question for extra credit. That free subscription only lasts for 30 days. So some of you might see that you lose the little football cake. So just make sure that you double check. You can renew it very, very easily for another 30 days. It just takes a second to do. The other reminder I have for you, I'll put this here in the chat. Our next Twitch live stream will be on Wednesday, September 10th at 1 o'clock p.m. Okay, so that'll be our week number 5 live stream. I will go over everything from week 4, kind of talk about some things I saw with the exam, the discussion, all that stuff. And then, of course, we'll talk about week number 5 and everything that we have going on there. The other thing, let me give you the extra credit question for this week and show you where to answer it. So this is the week number 4 Twitch extra credit question. I'm putting it here in the chat. The question for this week is, what does APA stand for? Right? And which edition are we currently using? What does APA stand for and which edition are we currently using? And when you're ready to answer that, you'll go to Canvas. And since we're in week 4, you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 4 right here. And then up at the top, you can click on start assignment. And that brings up that box where you can type your response. And when you're ready, hit submit to get your confetti burst and balloons, right? Very celebratory because it's September, right? So don't forget to do that. Again, if you're watching this later as a recording, as long as you're subscribed on Twitch, you can still do that as well. I think that is everything that I wanted to go over with all of you. Again, good luck on the exam this week. Make sure you study and prepare. You've got this. I have full faith that a lot of you are going to do really, really well on the exam. If you have any questions, I'm going to hang out for a little while and I would be happy to show you something again or go over something again. So just put that in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to put in here, thank you all so much for either joining me live or watching this later as a recording. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. I'm happy to keep doing it as long as people are still here. I'm going to minimize my video so I'm not staring at myself, but I will hang out for a little bit. If you do have any other questions, feel free to throw them in the chat and I would be happy to answer them. Okay. Otherwise, everyone have a wonderful week. Happy September. And I will hope to see you all next week.